That's some Alicia Keys I heard. That's what I thought. That's good, man.
Song that was like LMA or whatever, because I kind of remember that one.
You don't seem very rusty to me. So you don't seem very rusty to me.
Well, yeah, I mean, like how I messed up when I was trying to think how that song went. Like,
you play by ear. You gonna give me lessons?
Right.
Nitty's
nothing but the revolution, man. I really have time for nothing. Just not gonna play anything out here. Like I just taught myself the LMA right now because I was just thinking how it went. So
that was the first time you played that?
Maybe like the second.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Like if I hear it come on, like if you play like if you turn on the radio, I'll play every song on the radio before it goes off. Like every song before it goes. Whatever you guys have been doing has been amazing. Like that in Portland, without streamers and like you know what I mean. Of course they would be hiding everything that's going on out there.
Yeah. It definitely is like a dangerous spot to be in.
Yeah.
Like
you have to have all the protective gear and everything.
Yeah, I've been shot in like direct stomach with flashbangs, like knocked the wind out of me, like maced, like I've been maced 3 times in the last like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
By the
Really? I
police.
didn't know that. Damn.
But I don't know, definitely like I feel like there's no place that's more important for me to be than out there documenting that. So
Yeah, same.
No, and I respect it all the same. Whether a person is in MSNBC or an independent person trying to do press, it's all the same because you have an audience of people that respect what people say. You know what I mean? Some people aren't gonna watch MSNBC. They're gonna watch you.
yeah,
They
exactly.
don't like mainstream media. They don't like mainstream press. They don't like the perception that it gives people. You know what I mean? So I respect and I appreciate every platform that wants to have any conversation with me or
I
follow.
also notice mainstream press isn't there when we have black speakers sending a message. They're there when people are like breaking stuff. So,
They're there to film the
there's a lot
fires.
that they don't get, and I don't
Yeah.
understand why they pick and choose what they do just for like clickbait. But
And everybody knows y'all, so that's funny.
Yeah,
That's
it's
how you-
crazy.
yeah, that's
People
how
come
you
to us
know.
all the time.
Yeah, that's how you know you're Adam.
I'm Jared.
You're
He's
Adam.
Adam.
Somebody just said, ask Adam about being gassed over and over.
Yeah, we've been
Yeah,
gassed
we've all been
sometimes.
gassed in
Yeah.
numerous
yeah,
times.
it
I
probably
mean,
took
like,
me.
it's just interesting. I think people don't, like, some people don't have respect for, you know what I mean? Because they'll be like, why are you calling them press? Because they are press. And, the interesting thing is, like, people on my live know who y'all are. You know what I'm saying?
crazy, yeah.
Like, it's a whole world of people that only get their stuff from social media or only get their stuff from Raw like individuals.
Yeah,
that are
we've
on the
had
street.
I think it's honestly like the future of like news.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
because it's a whole culture of people that only want. They're like, there's alcohol. There's the guy that does Portland. Oh, there's the guy that does this. Or like the other guy that walks Terry.
Yeah.
Terry Willis. He walked. He walked to Minnesota.
Yeah.
For George Floyd.
Yeah, I just added him on Facebook.
And yeah, you know what I mean. Probably saw with me. You know what I mean. But his followers saw me with him. Yeah, the fact is, like, there's a lot of people that watch him. That go to 1K family. There's a lot of people that watch me. You know what I mean. And I mean, I think it's not anything arrogant or anything. I think my stuff's a little bit different because I'm real dialogue-y.
Yeah, you speak a lot. I
And
love when you
I'm really
speak.
emotional, and I show like stuff that most people would hide. I feel like on social media, a lot of people put like their best pictures up of themselves. They might take 1,000 pictures in their camera and post 7. That's how people are nowadays. They post their best comments or their best moments. I post raw moments where I make mistakes or where I'm emotional or where I show that I'm flawed because we are all human beings. We are regular people.
Yeah, he is like.
I cry too much on my live though.
What?
I cry too much on my live though.
Yeah.
I'm not signal no more.
He was beautiful. Tears coming down.
You should get free Wi-Fi, which is
I
sweet.
do have Wi-Fi. Actually, there's Wi-Fi here. I need to connect to the
Dang.
Wi-Fi.
Honestly, my
They tell you to pay
computer's
$10 to connect. So.
Yeah.
Crying is healing in my culture. First thing that I was told when I got back to my culture was that crying is healing and do not ever be ashamed to cry.
And just always remember that every tear that you cry.
Frank, is
God-
there a card
God is
that they
like
have to
bigger
use
than
to get up the elevator?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Our buddy that was down there is trying to get up.
Okay, for sure. Somebody has to let him up. Hold on one second.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
guy actually has to swipe the key on the elevator.
Yeah. Jules went down to get Logan.
Want me to go get him?
Yeah.
Where's the key?
This one right here.
So what do you think of what you see in Quill? Frank?
Hold on one second.
They said they're on the 6th floor.
Okay.
6. How do you get up there?
I don't know. They said that they needed a key to get further in that.
And then I'm gonna show y'all
They won't
the.
let you take it to 9 unless you have a key.
Hello?
Hello.
Hey, what's up?
Yeah, I'm at the. We here.
We are here. We just heard your room number.
Somebody's coming down. They're gonna grab y'all.
Oh, somebody gonna come grab us?
Yeah.
Alright, we're in the lobby there.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Okay. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So what do you think of the Portland protest from what you've seen so far?
Like I said, I think the fact that they're still going is amazing. There's some stuff that I see that I'm a really honest person, and I think that's people that follow me, they like the honesty in me. And so I hope no one gets offended when I say this. Like I told y'all, a lot of times I don't know what's going on. Like I'll tune into like Portland streamers, and they'll be showing like what's going on, but I don't. There's like I wouldn't know what individual that I can name that I follow this guy because he's like talking about all the stuff that's happening as it goes along, or in the case of the Milwaukee stuff, they always attacked me. It kind of made me the center of attention because they were like attacking me. Or whenever the media put a camera in my face, I said something that was profound. But the fact that the police were targeting me and stuff like that made my life, I think, more. People were just like watching my life. Well, the police started messing with this one particular guy more than everyone else. So in Portland, when I watch, I try to find someone to watch. I mean, I like watching. I check through your stuff, and then I'll see what's going on, which is cool from a press standpoint. But the press has an unbiased opinion, so they're not trying to narrate the story of what's going on. So it's cool to watch that. And then the equipment in the state was like, you guys show me how to use the what's the name for you?
Yeah, we gotta get you one of
Gimbal.
these.
I got a gimbal.
Oh, you do?
Someone sent for a gimbal. I bought it. And I put my phone in it. It just turned it upside down on the angle.
Yeah,
I said, man, I don't know what I'm doing.
We
And I had
said-
to walk too. So I said, I'm sorry, I gotta walk, man. I got time to figure it out.
So you carried your phone like this?
The whole time,
The whole-
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that was me. I carried the phone the whole time. Some of the people carry their phone for a little bit, and they say, "I'm not Frank. I gotta put my arm down." Because I was like, I would carry my phone like this for like 8 hours straight, just carrying my phone.
You ever get any arm cramps from that?
No, actually, I never even noticed like it was a stressful thing until I gave somebody my phone one day. I I said, oh man, I can walk so much faster without my phone. I was gone. I gave seen on my phone one time, and all this stuff's heavy, dude. It don't feel heavy on the regular, but them phones and stuff in your pocket when you trying to
Swing
punch
around.
and walk, man, it gets heavy, dude. So I would have the fanny packs on. That's how I got the fanny packs. Everything was so heavy. Like a book bag was heavy. Everything was just so heavy. So once I got rid of the heavy stuff and I gave him the phone on those last days, that's why I went in the mornings. I didn't go live anymore because I'd be with me and just or be by myself, and I would have to do like 40 miles in like 6 hours. And I'm like, dude, there's no way I can do this with the phone because you swing your arms a certain way while you're walking. You get like
That's a fast pace too.
Yeah, you're not using your leg anymore. They clocked me at 7.
7 miles an hour average.
Yeah.
Wow.
6 and 7, between 6 and 7 when I'm by myself. Like when I'm walking with them and I'm at full speed, they jog. She'll tell you, like she's been following me the whole time. They jog. They just jog, catch up, jog, catch up, jog, catch up. I don't know if I could do it again. Like I said, it's a spiritual journey, so the pace that was set for so long, and like some of those days to walk 3 hours at that pace, like without stopping and stuff like that, is a ridiculous pace. But I think that I don't see enough black people in the Portland protest.
Yeah, I hear that a lot. We do.
Portland's
We
like
don't have that
97%
that
white.
Yeah, they,
The whole
because
our
of the,
demographics.
So
kinda-
I think that's
yeah, in the
also-
1800s, black
I don't
people
know
were
why- I don't know how
occupied
to
of the
explain
Portland
it,
area,
but there's
sadly.
a bunch of white people, and then they're always tearing shit up, and then Black Lives Matter, and black people get the backlash for like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yep.
Kind of
That's what I've
irritating.
been thinking.
Like I'm watching this shit, like okay, dude, y'all tearing shit up. Are y'all doing it because y'all see black people tearing shit up, or are y'all doing it because y'all, you know what I mean? I don't be understanding they.
And it's people like that that have problems with us filming. Those are the only people that ever care about filming.
Yeah. Oh, your friend's downstairs.
Jared, they're talking to you.
You have to tell them they have to go down to the
Oh.
3rd floor because their key
Okay.
won't take them to the 6th floor yet. But can you go down to the lobby? Some people down there. And then start sticking to people in the other room, but there's some ladies from Madison, Wisconsin, just bring them up. But no,
Have you ever-
Like, this is me being honest. Like I turn it on, I see like 800 white people and shit outside for Black Lives Matter. Like any Black Lives Matter. I'm not trying to be racist. Any Black Lives Matter protest, even if you have 900 white people, it should be one black person leading.
They said to go down to
You know what I mean?
because they can't go to the 6th floor.
And I
They said
think
go down to the lobby because
that's probably what I was looking for when I saw the Portland protest. It's like, where are the black people that are going to say, don't burn this shit down, or this is our angle, or this is what we're trying to do, or this is what we want to accomplish. And I think that the white people there, with all due respect, it makes more sense now. I think that they're like showing their support, but that's probably why you don't see a vocal leader because they're white. I think they don't want, because most of the white people that I know that support Black Lives Matter stuff, they don't want to be the lead of it. They don't want to be like, I'm a white person trying to take over Black Lives
Yeah,
Matter.
exactly.
So I think that's what I didn't notice it till now, but that's what I see. So that makes more sense that the white people out there doing stuff to show their support, but there's not a person there really to be more like, this is what black people want. So,
I think like during the day there. Yeah, I think during the day there's more speeches and everything, but I feel like a lot of times people just want to see what's happening at night because there's that interaction with the cops and the protesters, you know?
At night is go up to the police, then they run down the street,
Yeah.
and then they go back up to the police,
Yeah.
and then they run down the street, and then they go back up to the police, and they run down the street. I'm like, what the hell is going on? And they'll
Yeah,
go back to the same spot though.
A lot of it is like people just set on like clashing with the cops. So
Yeah, and I
that's what I
think-
mean.
and I
Actually,
think the
there
night.
were a lot more
That- and
leaders
that's what I-
at the
that's-
beginning.
Yeah, and at night it's like a lot, you know, of direct action against police brutality, and they do say Black Lives Matter, but I feel like the speeches during the day are more like for Black Lives Matter. For
Right.
Black Lives Matter.
And I also think that maybe at night when they're doing all of that, a lot of people are doing it for the views. You get a lot more views like arguing with the police. You know how many views I get when they think the police about to fight us and stuff?
that's
They
what I was
just
saying
shoot- they
earlier.
just
I was
shoot
at the
up.
HBCU thing and there's like barely anyone in there. I was like, how come all you are always in here when people are burning shit or breaking shit, but I have black speakers right here like conveying a message on how to
Yeah.
make effective change, and people don't want to see
Yeah,
this.
I don't want to see that.
Well, honestly, this whole trip, I'm pretty sure everybody's viewers have gone down for most of the trip.
Yep. And I think also the time difference too.
Yeah.
Like people are used to watching
Can you go
dinner
down
at
the
night.
one downstairs coming up here? The other one? Yeah. Give it a second. Yeah. Oh, I'm interviewing with Portland.
Yeah, a lot of people on here from Portland are saying, "Come to Portland and lead us."
I would love to, because I want to, I thought you said meet us, and it said
Lead.
I would love to, I just, like I said, I watch it and I'm like, man, I wanna go there, but if I do go there, I can't be involved in that.
I think your voice is
Yeah,
needed.
if you come during
Just
the
your
day,
voice.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
There'll
do
be a lot of
something
people
during
that
the
show
day.
up.
Story. I was
Yeah.
at night and during the day, you know what I mean, but I want it to be understood.
I was gonna say the direct action usually
Yeah.
starts at about 8, so I plan something like 2 hours beforehand and
Yeah.
then move that into the night.
It has to look
Yeah.
like something else. You don't like a lot of the times where we walk past. I know I was aggressive sometimes where I would cuss at somebody and stuff like that. But a lot of the times when we walked past, it was just us walking as black people.
I bet we could organize a march for whenever you got
Yeah.
there.
oh yeah,
Make
there'd be a lot of
flyers
people
and
for
stuff
that,
and
for
get
sure.
vendors and like all sorts of stuff. And
Because
Because-
literally, I'm gonna go to Kenosha and then I could go to Portland next. I would love. I literally watch it and I'm like, I want to go out there, but I don't want to be that guy that makes it seem like I'm going out there to take something over that people have started.
I think
So
people
just
need
watch
to
it.
just
I
hear your
think-
story. People
yeah,
who haven't,
and
because I know a lot of
people
people
want
who are like,
leadership there,
"Who's
too."
Frank Nitty? Who is he going to meet?" I'm like, "You guys have been missing like a lot."
Yeah.
Like
It's
you
so
guys
much
need
you
to go
can't
follow
catch
him
up.
and
It's
his
so
backup
it's hard to
page right
tell
now.
someone to go catch up. Like go to day 3.
Because you
and-
got
and
tons of just
Yeah.
hours and hours. I was looking at my stuff like 2 weeks ago. I went over like a
He's been
million
wanting-
minutes recorded or
He
something.
said he's been wanting to come to Portland.
Because if you go back, because even like the protest was, all our protest was crazy. Like, everything was crazy. You know what I mean? And if you go back before that, like, there's been so much stuff that I did. Like, it's not, you know what I mean? Like, Seville, if you go back 4 years ago, they blamed me for the riots in Milwaukee with Seville Smith. Because I had everyone come out then, you know what I'm saying? And then the city got burned down, and then they blamed me for it, you know what I mean? So I've already had, like, you know, my first boycott that I seriously boycotted was the Sherman Park gas station that was shooting at some black kids. And nobody shot there while I was out there until like they lowered the gas like $1. And then they literally lowered the gas like to $1. It was like gas was like $2.79 or something. They lowered it to like $1.89. People was like, man, gas is $1.89. Man. Frank Nitty made gas $1.89. Run over there and buy it. I'm like, no, you don't run and buy it. It was steady dropping, but the good thing about it was the whole city had to lower their gas. Like black people not spending money at one gas station made the whole city have to lower the price of gas because they had to stay in competitive nature. The gas station got packed after they lowered gas. I was disappointed, but at the same time, I saw people with missing doors and stuff. I saw people with like, it wasn't like Maseratis was pulling up there to get gas. So it was black people that actually needed the opportunity to get a cheap full tank. So it was cool that happened. But we boycotted that gas station, and I saw like black people could like come together still. You know what I mean? Like still in today's time, the black people could be so fed up with something that we actually stuck together and decided that we're not going to support something, and it worked. You know what I mean? And that display for me, I think that was like a sparking point right before the Seville Smith incident, where for me, once that happened, as a leader, I never wanted to be a leader. But a leader is a servant, so I love being a leader. Because I love to serve people. You know what I mean? That's just the truth. But
I think the best leaders aren't trying to be leaders. They
Yeah.
just come into that.
Yeah.
I'm the voice of everybody else. How do you feel? 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 Well, I'm gonna express how all of y'all feel. I don't have an opinion anymore. I don't give my opinion of stuff. I don't go out and be like, this is what I think. This is what the people think. As a leader, I just only care about what the people think and how they feel and how things affect them and how I can change that. I'm a servant. As a leader, if you're a leader, you're a servant. And people should be making the decisions, and you should just be the one taking all of the hits for it, taking all of the negative press, taking all of the negativity for it, fighting their battles. But it should still be their voice. So for me, when I jumped out and wanted to do activism work and do community work, I just wanted to be a part of things. I just wanted to be a part of the protest. I wanted to be involved in things. And then stuff happened in my life that pushed me to the front, where people said, man, I want to follow you, I want to rock with you, I want to see what's going on with you. And now, like I always tell people, and I use similar analogies, because you never know who's listening. But not that I should think of it like this, but as an activist, it's like the NBA or anything else. Like, I always used to make a joke. You know, no disrespect to Jesse Jackson, because he might hear this one day now. But I used to say, I didn't get in this to be Jesse Jackson. I want to be the next Martin Luther King. I mean, no one wants to go to the NBA and ride on the bench. No one wants to go to the NBA and just, hey, no one wants to have a seat, y'all. No one wants to go to the NBA and just ride on the bench. Y'all have a seat. No one wants to, you know what I mean? People want to be the next LeBron James. You know what I mean? And when I say I want to be the next Martin Luther King, it means more that I want to be the next person that would dedicate everything I have to the movement. I want to be the next person people look at it like, man, you gave everything you got to the movement. I can never be Martin Luther King, but all Martin Luther King did was give everything he had to the movement. And that's what I want to do.
Actually, saw or heard a speaker the other day talking about, they're standing in front of the college. They're talking about how they don't want the next LeBron James to come out of there or anything like that. They want the next Nelson Mandela, next Martin Luther King, next Malcolm X. That stuck with me to think like people are tired of like the entertainment. They want someone who's going to make change and bring change about. So that was like really powerful to hear and like see a whole school out there spreading that information. So
yeah, and that's how it is. You go to high school and you play in high school and you're the best at high school, but you can go to college and don't be shit. But then there's like there's a thin line between like being confident and being cocky and everything else. And for me, I'm from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, dude. So when they're from Madison, they're Madison activists. So when you take a city like Milwaukee, that would be like high school. You could be the best in high school, but then you go to college and you can ride the bench. You can be the best in college. You go to the NBA and ride the bench. Because everybody goes to college was the best in high school. Everybody goes to the NBA was the best in college. But you never know where you truly stand. I think that's what people don't talk about. Like Michael Jordan probably didn't know he was Michael Jordan until like he played for the Bulls and scored on everybody. You know what I mean? Like he in college, he probably hit a game-winning shot. Like, man, I'm lucky enough to hit a game-winning shot. All these people think I'm this. So for me, it was like, people were like, oh, Frank, what you say is inspiring. The way you reach people is cool. I'm like, okay, cool. That's cool or whatever. And then I even told them, I said, when I met with the Madison people, they're like, man, we love you up here. I'm like, wow. So, okay. I ain't got to fight with nobody
we love you up there in Portland too.
Yeah, everybody's saying love and light from Portland.
So then when I went to, so that's when I realized, well, maybe I'm bigger than Milwaukee if Madison actually was like, man, we want to sit down with you and talk about like the way that you think and your philosophies on things. I'm like, okay, cool. So then when I started marching and I went to Racine and Kenosha, there was like a bunch of people outside in Kenosha, like waiting for me. And they wanted to march with us. I was like, okay. And I told everybody when we left there, AJ and everybody, I said, when we leave Kenosha, nobody else gonna know who I am. Like these people were close to Milwaukee, so they know who I am. We're not gonna get no more supplies. We're not gonna have people pulling up on us. And I left there and went to Chicago, Zion, Illinois. The Black Lives Matter group of Zion was there talking about we've been following you. Then I went to Chicago. They was like, we've been following you. I was like, what the hell's going on? Then we were like East Chicago, Indiana. We were in Indiana. We was at Gary, Indiana. We went to this black-owned store. I tried to buy something. Dude was acting funny. The owner put up like, hey, man, I've been following you, man. They shouldn't be acting like that. So I was like, dang, this is crazy. And then I started hitting like back roads in Indiana, like places where people are like, where are y'all at? And I was like, a cornfield is a cornfield. I don't know where the hell we're at. You know what I'm saying? We in between a cornfield and a cornfield with no street lights, no street signs or nothing. And people was pulling up on us like, it took me 17 hours to find you. I've been driving since yesterday looking for y'all. I'm like, what the hell? We're in the middle of a cornfield. And it was just like, how are these people, how do they even know who I am? You know what I mean? In my head, I'm like, why do they care so much? Like, why do they like me? Why do they, because I don't see what everybody sees.
Does that still confuse you?
Yeah, I don't see what everybody sees. I don't see what y'all see.
Well, you speak the truth and you're
Like,
here
that's
for
the
people.
honest
Very
truth.
humble.
Yeah.
So it's hard for me because it's like a house of cards. And this is me being transparent. I'm scared it's gonna fall apart one day.
It's usually the people that don't.
Cause I don't see what y'all see.
I was gonna say it's usually the people that feel like that actually deserve the better in my opinion.
So when we went to DC, and they were like, you get to speak, and I talked. When I left, that's when everything just changed. I walked off the stage, I got downstairs, and people were like, can I get a picture? Can I get a picture? The press was like, can I talk to you?
Yeah, I seen you get swarmed by press.
Yeah, and I'm like, I don't know what was going on or why they wanted. There's 200 people speaking here. That gets 2 minutes, and you told me to split it with 2 other people. Like, they're like, split your time. You know what I mean? So I was like, I'm just gonna say how I feel and get off the stage. You know what I mean? Because I don't even know if I deserve to talk here.
You
I'm
did.
just a
You
dude
made,
that-
you made the most out of that minute.
I'm just a dude from Milwaukee that decided to walk.
You're the truth. I'll be honest, I was listening to all those speakers talking the whole time you were speaking. People were screaming from the crowd, and like the second you
Yeah, see,
walked
I
off
couldn't.
stage, everyone went crazy. Like,
I didn't see any of that. Like, I didn't hear any of that. I didn't see any of that. I didn't notice any of that. I didn't see any people. I didn't even see any of that.
yeah, I
So
was
for
sitting
me-
in the back and I heard them introducing someone. I was like, oh, I think they're talking about Frank. They're describing Frank right now. I ran up to the front and you stepped up.
And I appreciate that because I know for people that have been watching everything I went through, for them it's like watching, like, I don't know what it is, but it's like you watching for y'all, you know what I'm saying? To sit with y'all and then be like, they're gonna let us speak in Washington DC, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And it was like, I didn't know they was gonna let me speak. I didn't set out to walk to speak. I didn't set out to walk to change anything. I didn't set out to walk. I set out to walk to honor Dr. King. Like, I'm gonna honor Dr. King when I walk. I admire Dr. King. We've been marching across the country. You know what I mean? I have a message. The few people that follow me, and then when Facebook shut my page down, that destroyed me because I felt like, well, people aren't going to see the end of my journey. They're not going to be able to contribute to the last like 10 days. You know what I mean? So that was hurtful because people have been watching me, and finally, like, you know, I noticed things were different. People would cry, you know, and be emotional, and the whole way, man, all the way up until I saw that last lady that came to see me today. So when that hugged me and told me I only had a little bit left, I was dead. Like, I didn't know what I was gonna do. I was falling asleep while I was walking. I was stumbling and stuff. You know what I mean? People were trying to tell me stuff to keep me woke, and I just didn't have it in me, to be completely honest. And I was like, man, I know I didn't make it to the last like 15 miles to like break all the way down. I had been using BioFreeze on the side at that, and we had everybody had walked, like everybody had took a break or hurt themselves or something had happened. So I had walked every mile. I had walked every step, and it was hard. The last I think it was because I hadn't slept in like 4 days. I had drove back to the hotel and then dropped everybody up at the hotel, and I got up at 5:30 in the morning, and like we get there at 4 a.m. You know, I wait till everybody gets their luggage, and I would just drive back out and start over again. Like literally, like getting 35, 40 minutes of sleep. And then that particular day, I got up at like 7 and went out. I woke up like, oh my God, I gotta get up. And I'm like, dude, I gotta do 82 miles today. And I got up, and I had walked to the town we were in, found out it was a black town. I went to the town we were in, I found out it was a black town. Said, we're gonna march this town together. I had jumped the town and left off from this one sign, and then marched from that sign. And then when we got to the sign, we were gonna start where I left off at. But I felt like we needed that. With everything we had went through all those little towns, I felt like we needed that black town. And I felt like the journey exposed a lot of racism, and it showed you really that Trump 2020 is some racist shit.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, it showed that, dude, right before elections. Like, everybody in the world knows that now. That if you ever said it wasn't racist before, it gotta be some white people that feel like this is racist shit. Like, I can't believe, I'm embarrassed to be a Trump 2020 supporter. And the fact that they was using that, it's like the KKK starter kit or something, like a Confederate flag, pickup truck.
Blue Lives Matter flags, like America's Nazi
But
flag.
the Blue Lives Matter wasn't even, we didn't even see those. It was literally pickup trucks, diesel trucks, usually, so they could blow that black smoke.
Yeah.
There was pickup trucks, Confederate flags, and Trump flags. That was it. Pickup trucks, and it was never the Confederate flag without Trump stuff. Never. We would even see more Trump stuff without the Confederate flag. Like, people would come and put Trump 2020, Trump 2020 with their signs as a form of, we hate you. You know what I mean? Even the last town I talked to, I said, dude, I'm a black Republican. I was like, vote for me. I'm a black Republican. I'm gonna run for mayor in this town. They would not shake my hand. They was like, I'm like, Black Lives for Trump. They didn't know what to say. Like, Black Lives for Trump, right? Black Lives for Trump. They were just sitting there like, what? I'm a Trump, we're Trumpster, Trump 2020, Trump 2020. They was like, no.
Trumpster.
No. They literally was like, no, no blacks for Trump. On the real. This is our, we don't want you to support this. This is our KKK shit. This is our new underlying, you know what I mean? That's what they really think. And the fact that people are using their voting power to use that, they're going to exercise their right to vote, and they're going to try to oppress us with it. They want it to be, if your voters are white supremacist type Trump supporters, and those are the only people for you that vote for you and get you in office, then what are you going to write as policies? Because you don't want to get out of office. You want your voters to support you. You know what I mean? So what are you going to do?
Have you seen anything with the like race wars in Portland? Because there's been a lot of like Blue Lives Matter against BLM, like massive like crowds of like 300 plus against each other.
Yeah, that's crazy.
People are bringing guns now.
Yeah, last Saturday, there were shots fired. I was bear maced by like a Proud Boy.
I got battery acid thrown on me by Proud Boy.
Yeah,
Wow.
It's crazy.
Dude, they had like nails in their shields
Yeah.
that they were like hitting people with. They had knives, guns, assault rifles.
Yeah.
like hundreds of them.
Have they ever tried to dialogue with each other?
Any
I've-
weapon that they could
I've,
that was
like,
legal for them to have.
I've talked to them a couple times, just trying to like pick their brain and see like what the fuck they're like thinking, like being out there, but they never have anything substantial to say, or like just say, oh, you're
They just say
with
they're
them,
here.
get away from me, or spray me with mace when I.
Yeah, they just say that they're here to protect our country from rioters or something.
It's crazy because like I always dialogue with like white supremacists. I dialogue with like some of my, so you've seen Port Washington, and when I was out there, and I dialogue with them and try to engage in conversation because a lot of them are anti-government, which makes no sense because when you really think about it, this isn't Black Lives Matter will start the revolution, but this is really a rich and poor war. I think both sides are too immature to come together on that.
Yeah, a lot of people are on the same page.
Yeah,
wanting the same thing.
it's all like black people. We're not mature enough to like look past our issue to be a rich and poor war right now. We have to focus on our issue because we've never gotten anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? we've never won ever. We're still fighting for the same shit Dr. King fought for. So since we've never won, we gotta get our victory first. You know what I mean? That's how black people are. Look, we gonna get our victory first because we fought for everybody before, and Indians got fucking education and shit, and Sikh people got gas station taxes and shit, and everybody got some and shit, and we got integration and that shit didn't work. You know what I'm saying? Well, it's no offense to Dr. King, but they didn't ask for reparation. They asked for integration. They got what they asked for. You know what I mean? And on top of that, you'd be a fool to think that these white people are going to plan our reparations. You gotta have a plan. How are we gonna pay? If you ask black people that's fighting for reparations, ask them how are they gonna pay it off. So they look at us and they think it's a joke because everyone says we need 100 acres and a mule, or we need all this money. Every black person should get 100,000. Well, where's it gonna come from? Black people don't have a plan to even pay out the reparations. White people ain't gonna write a plan for our reparations.
They're just gonna tax you for it.
Why would they write a plan for the money they owe us? That's like if you owe me money and you owe me $1 million and stuff, and I'm gonna let you write a plan for how you gonna pay me back the money. Like, you know what I'm saying? You might not never write. You gonna write up something that you never have to pay it back. Like over 400 years, I got you. Yeah.
What does effective change look like for you?
This.
Just talking rather than fighting.
Yeah. Where they go? Someone come in.
Have you been talking to anyone in like legislature?
Hold on 1 second. I gotta make sure my people. I'm feeling good. Thank you so much.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Here, you can give me a hug.
That's all I've been waiting for.
I have no signal.
Is that all right? I got another one. Y'all want to get hugs?
Yeah,
All right.
that's fine.
Hold on 1 second.
No. You did it. What do you say?
Thanks,
We actually looked for you for 2 hours.
For hours.
For hours. Yes.
So I was literally, I was mad because I couldn't come earlier.
Anybody know the Wi-Fi here?
No.
There's probably a little thing.
I said we just got here.
Yeah, I was trying to come to you earlier, but
Yeah, it didn't work out.
yeah, our city is going crazy.
Yes.
But yeah, so like I said, it's really a rich and poor war. Cause I didn't want to finish that thought. It's really a rich and poor war, and a lot of even the Blue Lives Matter people, like a lot of white supremacist people, they'll say like, please kill us too. Exactly. You know what I mean? And that's like, yeah, we'll march for you too. Yeah, that's why you need to march with us. You know what I mean? We need to get killed a little bit more than you guys, from a ratio's perspective, not from each actual person, but the ratio is way higher for black people. And it's in situations where we don't do anything most of the time, where white people sometimes do stuff and get killed by the police. We get killed by the police for our seatbelt being up. You know what I mean? It's not a lot of times white people get killed for nothing. You know what I mean? Or in George Floyd type situation. But eventually it's going to have to transition. You're going to need a lot if you're going to change the system, because a lot of people don't want it to change. And without black people and white people coming together as, oh, y'all in there? Oh, okay, y'all fine. They said y'all sitting in the hallway. I mean, I said, I'll stop my whole everything. I say, it would be damned if y'all sitting in the hallway. They said the hallway. Y'all seen the other room? How y'all like it? Piano. I gotta play the piano. Can y'all give me the Wi-Fi code so that my stuff stop freezing? But yeah, eventually we're gonna have to transition sometime. Like I said, black people haven't never won, so we gotta get ours first. And the white people that support us understand that. I think once you realize that they're more successful making us fight each other. Like if you're fighting, like if you go to every. Okay.
There's some people in the other hotel room too.
Yes, some catfish around.
But there's a lot. There's people right here.
Macaroni and cheese, rice or fried or something. No, none of that type of stuff. But eventually, like when I go, I think the most disappointing thing that I realized was every black city that I went to, the activists were fighting. The phone's over there, I think.
Yeah, I definitely noticed a lot of infighting in Portland groups also.
Yeah, all the in every city, even Milwaukee, you have everybody started with people just marching. Everybody just taking to the streets and marching. Every city. Who's gonna go to the streets and march? Had 1,000 people out there marching. Then people start trying to own the marches in every city. And then they started saying, well, I want to march too, and I want my own march, and I want my own march. So now you go to a city and you have 4 different people that are marching for the same cause.
On different sides of town.
Yeah, for the same cause.
Sometimes on the same night too.
Same day, same night, 4 people marching. And it's disappointing. And because to see it in every city is why we're not respected and why it's not working. Because every city has a separation within themselves. So I went to Fort Wayne. So before Fort Wayne were here. It was Fort Wayne. They were arguing on my live pretty much. Like, Sean, don't talk to dude. And he like, I don't mess with them. And I'm like, well, why y'all here? Y'all together. While I'm here, y'all together. Y'all do that. Because I'm not here to take over Fort Wayne. Y'all can have Fort Wayne, Indiana. Y'all ain't got to worry about me coming to take over Fort Wayne, Indiana. All right, y'all can fight over Fort Wayne, Indiana all y'all want. All right, I came for the Black Lives and we're marching through here. But I went to, I think the saddest place that I went to was Pittsburgh. And they didn't even realize it because I'm talking in Pittsburgh. I didn't even know the mom or the son that died. I never heard of the story or anything. So when I got there and we walked up, I found out while I was walking up what had happened to him. While I was walking up, and I told her, Mom, I got you, I support you. And I started talking, and right when I was done talking, okay. Right while I was done talking, literally right when I was done talking, the girl grabbed the mic. She's like, I don't mean to take the mic from you, but we gotta say this. She gave it to the dude. He's like, all right, if you such and such, you can start marching to the right and separate. If you, the group that came with such and such, we're gonna go left. And they did it respectfully, And then they let the mom talk though, while the groups were like separated. You know what I mean? I'm like, this is stupid. Like, why would you not have everybody here to hear everybody talk and then separate? But some people said we're gonna be done at 7. We're gonna march to here. We're gonna start at 7:27 over here. We're gonna march this way. And they literally like were walking around while the mom was talking and while the family was speaking. They walked and marched her to the side for the family though, or for Black Lives to Matter. Even though this lady black and her son life should matter, they're marching for a different black person. So I guess they're gonna separate at that moment. And I was like, this is sad. I was like, how could y'all just, like right after I got done talking, how could y'all just separate the whole group up? You know what I'm saying? No wonder they don't respect what's going on. Because they're not going to call everybody. They're not going to call 7 groups. You're not going to get the president or the mayor to call 7 groups. I'm going to call this group and then this group. And I'm going to ask them all what they think and all what they want and what all they demand. You need to have one list of demands and one group in every city. That's it. It shouldn't be 5 groups in every city, 3 groups in there. It shouldn't be 2 groups in our city. You need one group, one list of demands, and the people need to stand together as one. That's why they don't respect us, because we have different opinions within ourselves. And until we stand together as one in our cities, it's going to be hard to stand together as one as a nation. But the reality of the situation is we have to figure out a way to do it, because that's the only way we're going to really have a revolution. Otherwise, we just marching for nothing. If y'all marching in Portland and doing all that shit in Portland, that's fun, it's cute or whatever. It's cool to watch the videos, it's cool that it's day 100, but the police got unlimited money. You talking about a government that'll go to war forever. They've been in Iraq since 2000.
Yes.
Iraq was the last city that they needed to take to control 1/3 of the world's oil. They already were in Iran. They went everywhere there and never had an exit strategy. You think they won't come to your city in Portland and don't have an exit strategy? You think they won't come to Milwaukee, Chicago, Atlanta, wherever y'all at, and don't have an exit strategy? Of course they'll come down there with no exit strategy, because they don't have an exit strategy right now, like COVID. They don't have an exit strategy. It's just a way of life now. And they would love to institute that way of life until you dissolve and go back into your old way of life, and then they'll leave. So that's your right now. You want the police and the military to leave your city, then you have to stop marching and stop protesting. That's the only way they're gonna leave, because nobody's organized enough to get them to leave. Nobody's organized enough to get all of the politicians or anything. Right now in Milwaukee, if we were smart enough, we could take every automatic seat and every common council seat there in one swoop. Because it only take about 4,000 votes for some of them seats, 10,000 votes at the most, 8,000 votes. We might not be able to take a Senate seat right away. But once you take all those other seats, you can control city government. You can control everything. You know what I mean? And, huh?
I was gonna say, that brings me to another question. What's next for you?
I had someone ask that same question.
Everybody keeps asking me what's next, and I didn't even know what this was.
Well, hopefully having all the groups come together here in DC like this will help resolve some of the infighting. It's like having more of an organization and the communication develop between the different leaderships.
I think, I mean, what can I, like, it's a difficult conversation, because, like, I always tell this story, and some people know about this, some people don't. There's a thin, when I say there's a thin line between reality and being humble. Like, I can't smoke a blunt on my Facebook Live. Even if I did smoke weed, I can't smoke it on here because of the perception of things. I can't fuck none of these women. I can't sleep with none of these women that are around. You know what I mean? I have to, you know what I mean? I can't just be like, oh, she's cute, she joined the protest. If I meet a woman outside the protest, that's different. But if I sleep with all the women that joined the protest, then they're gonna say that I'm some type of, they're gonna criticize me for that.
Yeah,
so,
people are always ready to criticize.
So I remember in 2016 when the Will Smith riots happened, there was this white girl that came down to take a picture with me, and we weren't ready as black people to accept what white people wanted to do. Even during those riots, they were beating up anybody white that came around, snatching on the car, beat them up, or a reporter or something. Do not come down there and try to film what's going on.
Yeah.
And there's some white people that came, and they just wanted to take pictures and stuff and say hi and all that stuff. So this white girl came down and she said she wanted to take a picture with me, and I was like, they were like, you can't take a picture with her because you're becoming, like, what are you talking about? And I noticed Dr. Umar at that time, I don't know if he does not, he won't take pictures with white people.
Yeah.
He just won't. And I was like, what do you mean? I was like, I'm just a regular person. Well, I can't. I had noticed I had, like, stuff was going on, but my humbleness of trying to remain humble, I was like, I'm a regular person, what you talking about? So I took a picture with this girl, and she had posted like chilling with the leader of Black Lives Matter. Y'all know we've been marching across the country, and they call us Black Lives Matter. So some people don't know that we're not technically Black Lives Matter, that I'm just Frank Nitty, this guy, and there's a group of people that are following me. They think we're a group of Black Lives Matter, like a chapter or something. And so she just thought like, he's the leader of the people out there, so he's the leader of what they're calling Black Lives Matter. And they had one on her page, and she had called some other white person a nigga. Or she didn't even call him a nigga. She was like, if niggas gonna act like Harambe, treat him like it was a quote from like a rap song, whatever. But she was talking to another white person. Not that it not that it tones it down or nothing, but it's, you know, some is education over racism. Some people aren't racist; they just need education. Some people love black people, will say nigga when they hear a rap song. You know what I'm saying? And some white people will call you a nigga. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes the white people that say nigga in a rap song will beat up that white person that called you a nigga. You know what I'm saying? So it is levels, you know what I mean? Yeah. But they went back in her history like a year and a half, and they found this when she said it to somebody. And they dragged her, and she killed herself. They like dragged her all over social media, and she killed herself because of the scrutiny that she got on social media. So then after she killed herself, like her mom and them had to deal with her dying, her boyfriend and stuff. It was really hard for them. They took her obituary and put it on Facebook and was like, fuck this dead white bitch. And dragged her after she died.
People are just so evil. People are evil. Yeah.
And that shit was hard for me.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, because, you know what I'm saying? The reality of the situation was, it was a following that followed me. You know what I'm saying? And people that was following what I did, and people just doing too much. But when they dragged her after she died, that did it. Because it was like, dude, she killed herself. And then they just said, fuck this dead racist white bitch. You know what I'm saying?
Not to interrupt you, but as someone who's been dragged by your following before.
Your following.
Who's been dragged personally by your following, I think that sometimes you have people who aren't hearing the whole story, aren't seeing the whole story, because for them it's like you keep telling me to speak to the people, and they're like, who is she? Like, who is this girl? Like, why does she matter? Why is she important? Get her off the stage. And it's like, but you know, people are missing the whole story sometimes, just like what you're talking about. Like, she didn't hate black people just because she had said the N-word. But black people are so angry, and we go through so much that sometimes it's like, it's hard to care for other people's struggle, because it's just it's like, I'm doing so much, and so I don't care that your feelings are hurt.
They ended up dragging me before that, because I went with these white, like you said, they don't care about other people's struggle. I went with these white people, and they had just asked me to come to breakfast, and they were like, you can't go to white people for breakfast. So this was around the same time, but this was before she killed herself. They're like, you can't go eat breakfast with the white people, Frank. And they lived in the black community. They lived on like 44th and North or something, 45th and North Avenue. So they were like, and it was like, so I went to have breakfast with them, and I turned my phone on, and we had an interesting conversation. It was just about, they were just telling me the shit they went through as white people in the black neighborhood. I never thought about, fuck, I care about what white people go through in the black neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? Same kind of shit. But, and I'm gonna go back really quick, but when that lady had, what up, Marmar?
What's going on?
Chilling. When that lady had, Smiley, you like the room? You smiling, you like the room? Yeah. That lady had, when she had killed herself, I realized that there's a thin line between being humble and reality. No matter how humble I think I am, the reality is I'm not a regular person anymore.
Yeah.
Back then, I was like, I'm not a regular person anymore. I can't just operate like I'm a regular person, because people can fucking get hurt. People can get killed if I don't accept the fact that the reality of my situation. And if I accept the reality, doesn't mean that I'm not humble. It just means that I'm being safe. So when I went to eat with the white people, they were like, you can't go eat with them. And they dragged me for it, because I went and ate breakfast with them, and they were just telling me some stuff. I said, let's go live, and I went live, and I was like, what is like being white growing up in a black community? And they were talking about how everybody broke in their house and shit. Like, they would get the fuck white boy, what you doing in my neighborhood and shit. And they said they knew who was breaking in their house. They never called the police on the dude. You know what I'm saying? They tried to help them, give them money and shit. Like, they found out who was breaking in their house. They kept breaking in their house and kept telling them to get the fuck out of their neighborhood, and just harass them the whole time they were there. You know what I mean? And I was like, damn, I never think of, because we do that shit. We do. And I was listening to him, and I was like, man, I never think about that shit, but we do this shit to white people when they move in our neighborhood. We fuck with them. You know what I'm saying?
Because we've seen what happens.
Yeah,
when
we
white
will
people
break
start
it. We
moving
will
in
break
the
into their
neighborhood.
house. We will break into their car. You know what I'm saying? We will steal their car and shit. We will break into their. This is white people. Fuck them people. You know what I'm saying? They'll be the first person that's gonna get robbed in your neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? Being real. So you know what I'm saying? It was just the truth, and we were. It's all good. It's a different world. No, so I was talking about it, and on my live, they was like, man, fuck them white people problems. We got real problems with this shit. But what was crazy was they was growing a garden in the neighborhood, and then they said once they had their daughter and shit, they said they think there was like a test. They was like, after the black people seen they went through plenty of shit, like after like 2 years of them going through plenty of shit, and they was still in the neighborhood, they're like, oh, these white people ain't gonna move out, fuck it, they cool now. You know what I'm saying? And they said after they had their daughter, they said they would tell people like, dude, my daughter was born on this block. Like, you want me to move, but she was born here. Like, you know what I'm saying? She's like a year, 2 years old. And they said people stopped messing with them after they had the baby, kind of. And I went in their backyard. People were so mad about me being live with them and shit. They were so mad. I still live, still on page. I went in their backyard, and they're growing a garden, and they had toys in the backyard. And all the kids was in their backyard playing. Like black kids, white kids, all the kids, all the adults was doing that shit, but all the fucking kids was in the backyard playing together. They didn't care if the lady was white. They didn't care if the kids was black, was orange, was yellow. All the kids in the neighborhood was playing in these white people's yard, and them the ones that y'all fucking trying to run out of here. You know what I mean? And they loved that all the kids played in the yard. And but yeah, they dragged me for that shit. They was really upset that I cared about white people problems. And this time around, I did care about white people problems, and it was more accepting. 4 years later, when I would talk about how, you know, black people, we go march for Black Lives Matter, we supposed to. You know what I'm saying? It's our thing. White people go march for Black Lives Matter, they families cut them off. They dads cut their trust fund. They jobs fire them. And they not black. They ain't gotta lose all that shit. We black. You know what I'm saying? They lose. Dude, these white people that's been marching in Milwaukee with us have lost everything. Like husbands and wives. Like, to leave your wife over Black Lives Matter and you white, or to leave your husband over Black Lives Matter and you white, that's respect from me. That, you know what I'm saying? That's real life respect. Cause I know black people that wouldn't lose their husbands or wives. I know black people that wouldn't lose their jobs. I know black people that wouldn't split up from their family for Black Lives Matter. You know what I'm saying? I'm being real. I know a lot of black people that wouldn't. So to see white people doing it, and it's not even their cause, I gotta have some respect for that, even if black people get mad about it. So it changed everything. And I remember a group tried to say, man, them white people ain't marching down MLK. I said, them white people been marching with me, and your black ass ain't never walked with me. So we finna walk. So I'm here, I'm protecting them. I might not protect you right now. I'm protecting these people that's marching for Black Lives That Matter. I don't give a fuck what color they is. Everybody that's marching with me for Black Lives, that's who I protect and that's who I support. I'm tired of supporting niggas just because they black. I'm for real. Especially when they not giving back to what we got going on. You got all these rich black people in Milwaukee. When I left Milwaukee, I'm being real. When I left Milwaukee, I ain't have enough money to take nobody no fucking where. For real. And if I did spend my money, I was going to run out halfway along the way, and I knew that shit. And the other part is, I know it ain't a bunch of niggas that's hitting my cash app. Yeah. To be real, I know it ain't. Because we ain't got the money to, I ain't stupid. We ain't got the money for this shit in the black community. You know what I mean? So I know that I got white support. White people that see what we doing that really truly believe that they won't change. You know what I'm saying? And that's important to me. You know what I'm saying? No matter what color you is. You could be a racist. You could hate black people. But as long as you think we deserve equality, you good with me. If you, cause you, some white people might feel like give them everything we got. They gonna fail. Cool. You know what I'm saying? That's for real. That's a vote for, that's still a vote for me.
No, it really is.
For real. You want me to fall on my, you want to give me everything that y'all had so I can fall on my face? Knock yourself out. Let me prove you wrong. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, you ain't got to like me. We ain't got to like each other. This is about putting our differences to the side for what's right. And that's just the truth. You know what I mean? You got to put your differences aside for what's right. And that's all this is about. That's why it don't matter what color you are. And that change and the shift is the only thing they'll respect. Because if you look at this room, it's a diverse room. This America in this room. Yeah. America ain't all black. So they don't give a fuck about just your black opinion. We can march for 60 more years all black. They're not gonna give a damn. But when these white people and Asians and Mexicans and all of that, now it's not black people marching, it's not Mexican marching, it's not white marching, not Asian marching. You know what's marching now?
People.
No. No. They don't care about that neither. You know what's marching now? Voters are marching. Now y'all voters. When you got all the people marching together, y'all all voters now. And they're looking at the power y'all have as voters together. Look at all them voters marching. There's 20,000 people that's gonna vote marching. When we went to Wauwatosa and we was in a common council meeting, it's like 300 people packed up in there. We like, we want this, this, and that. It's like, all right, who all agree? Say, yeah. How many politicians you think was gonna not raise their hand? Be the one politician like, oh, you ain't gonna raise your hand? You know what I'm saying? You ain't gonna be the one to raise your hand. All these voters in here, your ass gonna be voted out. The next election, if you got 8 common council members raising their hand, you're gonna be the one that don't like, I'm standing with racism. I'm standing with this. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna get voted out when you see a diverse group. But a group of black people come in there and stand by themselves, now you see Democrats. You know what I'm saying? You don't see, oh, I can still get the Republicans support. I can still get the white people support. I can tell these niggas no, and white people still gonna vote for me. Because white people vote anyway and black people don't. That's what they think.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And when we do vote, it's only for like Obama or somebody. They don't think we're gonna vote in this next election. Because don't nobody like Biden. You know what I'm saying? But with the Trump 2020 stuff, standing for racism, we can't have 4 more years of that, no matter who the fuck he's going against. And then we can hold Biden accountable to the thing we want him to do. We gotta have somebody, but we also gotta be educated in primary elections. Everybody always knows when the real election is, but they don't never know when primary elections is. And a lot of people don't even understand why they do that. Part of the reason they do that mainly is because a lot of black people benefit. Hold on, let me log into this real quick. What's the last name on her? I need Leanne. What's the last name? Huh?
L-E.
Just 2 letters?
Yeah.
Y'all so smart. Man, my last name got so many letters and they cannot pronounce it.
But no, what you saying that like, you know, you need all the races together and stuff like that. And like, you got white people throwing away their whole lives just to black march for Black Lives Matter, like they putting their lives on the line. It makes you think about the fact that like, when people...
He said he couldn't find you at LE.
When people shoot at us, when we protesting, when you get the counter protesters, when you get the white supremacists who are ready for a race war, when they come out and protest against us and shoot at us, they shoot at everybody. They don't pick out the black people. Like they shoot at the whole crowd, you know?
Right.
So it really is like we all gotta be together, and you gonna protect the white people who are out there marching with you. Like you're not gonna be worrying about the black people who's safe in their home because they're not the ones getting shot at. These white people marching with me who getting shot at with me, not you who's not out here. Like how can you have something to say about what we're doing and how we're running protests and you ain't even shown up to one?
Exactly. And like I was saying about the primary voting, the reason that the uneducation of primary voting is strategically done, unfortunately, I see it more by the Democratic Party, like because, like for example, say you're gonna pay somebody $1 a signature to get people to get you on the ballot, because that's the first step to get you on the ballot. You pay $1 a signature to get you on the ballot. Okay, well you only need 200 signatures to get on the ballot when you run from like common council or anything like that. So anybody that can get 200 signatures can get on the ballot. So if you paying somebody $1 a signature, that's like $200 to get on the ballot. Okay? Once you get on the ballot, most of those seats don't have no opponent. You're just in office.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? As an alderman or as a county supervisor. And they don't want an opponent. So why would I advertise primary voting and I don't want an opponent? Because I benefit off the fact that all I need to do is get 200 signatures and then I can become in office. And then we see them as like, oh, this person's an alderman, oh, this person is a common. Dude, this person got 200 signatures and didn't have no opponent. You know what I mean? Our district attorney didn't have no opponent.
Yes. Same ours too. Dane County.
Terrible people, and they ain't got no opponent.
Terrible. We
Cause they're-
protest at his house every other
Yeah, ain't got no opponent. A lot of our county supervisors, they don't have no opponent, and a lot of black people benefit from not having no opponent. That's how they keep their seats in office, by us not knowing how to run against them, by us not knowing what all it takes is literally $200-300, and I can be in office. I ain't got a campaign. I can get a small seat because nobody even knows how to even do this. You know what I mean? And that's the problem. Since the local level is such a benefit for black people on the local level to literally not have people vote in the primary election, it hurts our national candidates like Bernie Sanders or anybody like that, because now we don't have right now again we don't have a candidate like we always don't. I mean, I like the Andrew Yang even. Dude was dope.
Yeah.
Dude had some dope concepts and ideas. You know what I mean? Yeah, dude had some dope concepts. He was really about the people. But at the same time, who knew what day the primary election was? They don't even tell you. They don't even talk about it, but you always know the big election. And we have to get more educated in that. But it's the responsibility of the parties. The Republicans ain't never going to educate us on primary voting, because that's how we get a candidate we want in there. So why would they help us do that? The Democrats have to figure out a way to stop benefiting of the lack of knowledge of black people and figure out a way to have the best candidate there and care about that instead of like the position of the things. And that's how we win, because city government is way important than national government, to me. It don't matter who the president is if you run your city.
Like, we gotta start back in our schools, and you know, as being a teacher, we have to get back to teaching about that, because you don't teach civics but one semester in high school. And you know, I'm almost 50 and didn't know nothing about the primary election until 4 years ago. Right. Because I never got taught about that.
Yeah, you gotta learn about primary election. How many of y'all knew you only need like 200 signatures to be on the ballot for primary vote? Y'all, who knew that? You knew that? That's what I'm saying. Yeah, well, I told you that, so that what day was primary voting? What day was primary voting?
Last month sometime.
Exactly. See what I'm saying? What day is the vote for Trump? November 3rd. Everybody know that by heart. You see what I'm saying?
We live day by day, friends.
No, but my point is like, even though you live, right? Okay, yeah, for sure. But even though like you said, you live under a bubble, you live by day, you don't even notice, you don't watch the TV, you don't watch the news, you still know November 3rd is the day to vote for Trump and Biden.
Yeah.
But you can't, even though primary voting passed, even though after it passed, they told you what it passed, they told you what day it was, you still can't tell me what day it was.
But I know both of us are from Wisconsin, and they practice real hard voter suppression.
Well, yeah, every state gonna practice voter suppression. The point is, it's not embedded in your brain. And by the time November 3rd come around, all the candidates that's for us is knocked out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, yeah. And I was even talking today, and I don't even know if this is possible, but it's something I would love to do. I don't know how it would happen. I don't know if I can afford to do it, but I just have a vision for it. So when I was walking through that town, I don't know who started live, and there was 1,500 people in it. And I was like, I should run for mayor here. Who the mayor of y'all town? And I was like, this is a nice little cozy town. I was like, I'm gonna run for mayor. Y'all need some black representation. They was mad as hell. I was saying like black Republicans for Trump and stuff. I was just joking. But what I realized though was, what if I did move to a town with like 1,500 people? I mean, most of the white people would move out. You know what I'm saying? Like when we move in, they will move out. I mean, we ain't got to run them out or nothing. We just got to, all we got to do is move in. And if you took a town with like 1,500 people and y'all moved into that town and like conceptually took over the town and y'all conceptually had all the houses, now y'all are the police. So when the national government comes, no, we don't need y'all. We the police. We the teachers. We the school board. We the county council. We the mayor. You see what I'm saying? We living in America, but we control everything. You know what I mean? You could do that with 1,000 people or 1,500 people, but you don't want to build a city from the ground because that would just be expensive and it'll take too long just to build it. You know what I'm saying? All you need is a gas station. If you took a patch of land and went somewhere, all you need is a gas station by the highway, and that'll fund the whole city eventually. Huh? See how many?
19 families that went to Georgia. Yeah.
This is Frank Nitty. He walked to D.C. from Minneapolis, from Wisconsin.
Especially
during COVID. What gotta do with a lot of people? You gotta have people that's willing to uproot their whole lives and leave it behind. And that's the crazy part about it is, like, when I look at what I went through, that's what just happened. Marching to D.C., you had people that literally just walked away from their life. Some people just was like, see me in Chicago, saw me speak, and they just left their clothes and everything and just walked away.
Wisconsin to D.C.
So I think people, like, this experience
He spits
shows,
truth.
like, I'll give you an example. I think more people don't want to go back to their lives. Now that this march is over, I might have uprooted them from their lives, but now that this march is over, I think the most difficult part is people have to go back to their lives. And not be a part of what was uprooted, because that's more addictive than anything. I have, like, some of the photographers that, like, came to film us and stuff that just been walking, and she told me, one photographer told me, like, I don't know what I'm gonna do with my life now, because, like, without the walking part, I just don't know what to do. Like, I thought I knew what I wanted to do. She's like, I don't know what to do now if we're not gonna be walking. And she was the photographer. So I can only imagine, like, the individuals that have been walking with me on this journey that have, like, uprooted their lives and what they're gonna do from here on out. You know what I'm saying? So I think that people would, I don't want to sound arrogant or anything, I think that if I did try to move to a town, I think there's a lot of people from a lot of cities that would actually go. That would actually go.
I think at this point, like you're saying, people are willing to uproot and leave just because of how bad rural communities are, especially right now.
I don't have the money to buy a town, but you know what I mean?
How has the experience of walking, like, across the country almost, coming to DC and being an activist, like, in Milwaukee, how has that changed you personally? How do you feel like it's affected your life? How do you see yourself moving forward after this?
For me, I think that, like, privately I talk about certain things. One of the most emotional moments I had was offline. Like, like, if y'all only saw what y'all didn't see, like, when Sino was in the hospital when he first got shot, and I went in there with him and I didn't have my camera, and he got shot in the face, and he had all these bullet cases in his whole chest and arms and over his whole body. Like I said, about 200 shell pieces was in him. And he was crying. He was telling me, you gotta keep going, you gotta go on, and just the stuff he was saying to me, it was literally like being in a movie, talking to him, and it was off camera, so there was no reason for him to be giving me like movie script type shit. You know what I'm saying? That's how cinematic it was. But like, those experiences, I've had private conversations where I can be more vocal about how I truly feel about it. And walking across the country, one day I had cried really bad. And it was like, when people were giving us support, I think it was like after, right in Warsaw, like after Indiana, I can't remember when it was. But I was crying really bad because I was like, I don't know if I'm being Milwaukee no more. Like, as a Milwaukee activist, I was like, I don't know, like, if I'm gonna really live there no more. And I was really emotional about it because I had just felt like I had told Sino, like, I belong to the world now.
You just want to see and experience
like
more.
Well, no, I can't. I don't, like, there's too many places where I went that was like, Portland needs your help, Fort Wayne needs your help, such and such needs your help, such and such, and I was like, I would be selfish to just stay in Milwaukee.
I actually just had someone comment and say you should come to Australia and speak because they love you over there and
that's crazy.
feel like you're an inspiration. So.
That's what I'm saying. I did Canada CNN today. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, and Canada, if it were hot up there, I would move there.
Same.
Yeah. But so on that aspect, I was like, to see like people actually like, it's still, like I said, it's still unreal to me. Have all these people in here, to have people looking for where I'm going, to have people listening to what I'm saying, to have people supporting my vision. It's still unreal. So when I saw other cities, like actually walking through them, like the mom in Pittsburgh was like, this is the best thing that happened to me since my son died. I was like, I'm like, man, we didn't even know they were protesting. The media was gonna meet me there, and they were like, there's a protest here. I said, all right, we're gonna pull up. We pulled up, and I spoke on behalf of her son. I walked her and I talked to her, and I took her to do an interview with me, and told them, don't even talk about me marching if y'all ain't gonna talk about what this mama going through. I don't want to hear about my story if y'all ain't talking about hers in your own city. You know what I mean? And I gave her $1,000 and had everybody on my Cash App, Flutter Cash App the whole day. I just had posted hers and something on Flutter Cash App. And she was just all overwhelmed. She was like, this is the best day I've had since my son died. And other activists in Pittsburgh pulled up like, man, the way you do things, like I wish they did that here. And that just let me know that like I was sad because I'm like, man, you don't want to leave your hometown, especially when stuff like you making changes there. I literally have 2 murals and a holiday there that I just got this year. So they finally started to appreciate me. You know what I mean? I've been in my whole life fighting for change. You know what I'm saying? Right. And now I realize that other cities had appreciated me and they actually needed my help. You always think like, I'm from Milwaukee, so I'll do my part at home. When people start to actually need your help, it changes you when you see that. And I was like, man, I belong to the world now. Like, wherever I'm needed, I have to go. I have to go where people need me. I can't just say, these are problems in Milwaukee, these are problems in Milwaukee, these are problems in Milwaukee. Because that lady in Pittsburgh, nobody ever knew her story. There's families that no one knows their story. And that's where I think I need to be. There's too many black people dying that nobody hears nothing about because there's not a big story made about it.
And yet falsely incarcerated.
Yeah. And then on the walking aspect, America is beautiful. When you walk, the land is beautiful, the people are ugly. And when we walked, we saw some of the most beautiful landscapes in the world. Like, some of those mountain looks, some of those scenes, I was like, man, this is why white people live here. Like, literally, I was like, man, this is beautiful. Ask them how much is rent. They're like $500-600 for rent. They stand in these houses that looked like, you can ask them. We were passing houses, and then you walk through black neighborhoods, and they had whole black neighborhoods that were closed. Like, we walked through all these white neighborhoods, and I never seen like 3 or 4 foreclosed properties in one white neighborhood. We walked through black neighborhoods, the whole thing closed down. Whole neighborhoods, Gary, Indiana, the whole neighborhood was closed down. The whole neighborhood, dude. And it's 2 Americas out here. And that was sad, dude, to walk through and see that all the black neighborhoods had some sort of poverty and all the white neighborhoods had no sign of poverty at all, like all of them. To literally, you know, you think it conceptually like, oh, white people live like this, but to see how white people really live and to see how they act, because when I talk about a black city and a black town where there's 1,500 people and we live there and we can have the police and all that, that's every white city in America. Literally, like when I walked through Indiana, that was every city in Indiana I walked past. It was nothing but like 20,000 white people that they were from there their whole life. Their grandparents was from there when there was only 1,500 white people and shit. Yeah, and they lived there. They're the police, and they're everything there, so they can't do anything wrong. And when you walk through their community, the police are hanging with them and blocking them and start let these niggas walk past, man. Just don't start nothing. And they, you know what I mean? And they closing their stores and they just supporting the white people that don't support you.
That's what I was saying the other day, that like these small rural communities, they have like these racist parents who raise a racist kid who becomes a racist cop, and then that rural community just stays a racist community. Like,
yeah.
But the worst part about it is their kids grow up and they move out. They move to Milwaukee, they move to Chicago, and then they become judges and lawyers and police there.
Yeah.
And then that's how you get those breeded racist people, because they've never had experiences with black people. But there's a difference between prejudice and racism. You have a lot of prejudiced white people, who I'm not trying to make an excuse for them, and they're just as racist as the racist people. They just don't think white privilege is a problem. And the main thing is, though, the prejudiced white people, they're going by what the media says. Like, they like Obama. Obama's cool. They like the black person that they work with. They like the black person at their school. They like the kid that's mixed, their black parent. but they still think the average black person walking down the street is like the niggas that they see when they show crime on TV, or when they show a murder, or when they show us on TV, when they show Black Lives Matter, burning stuff up. They think every other black person, 90% of us, are that, because that's what they see about black people 90% of the time. So those people are truly just prejudiced. They see black people, they have a perception of black people from the media, and then they love the few black people they actually got to know. They just don't know any black people because their community and everything doesn't like resound with a lot of black people. And then you have like white people that just hate black people, period, no matter what they do. And the lack of education of those white people, sometimes when I talk to white supremacists, that's why I started to dialogue with them and those white people. They change on the spot. You've seen it several times in my life. I actually talk to them, and they'll think they're white power, they'll think they're white supremacists. And then I'll talk to them, and they'll be like, man, I'm really glad I got to talk to you, cool as shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yeah, like they learn a lot of stuff, and then they stick their fist up for Black Lives Matter. Then you also have like 1 out of the 7 that would just be like, I'm still a white supremacist, because their dad and that shit in their brain, and they want to give it up. I mean, who wants to give up privilege?
Right. Yeah.
Let's be real. Nobody wants to give up. White people don't want to give up their privilege. I don't blame white people for not wanting to give up white privilege. But you can't. You don't have to celebrate it because you don't want to give it up. You know what I mean? You don't have to act like, you're not getting a head start. You know what I'm saying? Or we're not privileged.
They need to acknowledge it.
Yeah, exactly. But who wants to give that up? So I honor any white people that feel like they want to give up white privilege. Because when, like the one lady that was with us said, she walked with us for 7 hours. And they were calling her nigger and shit, like with us, and she just cried and bawled. She was like, man, I was able to leave, after 7 hours, I was able to leave and shit. I can't imagine, like, being black.
Yeah, I've been called race traitor, like, over 100 times, probably in the last, like, 2 months.
Yeah.
Like, this is a human race, not, like, white or black, like.
Well, that ties into what he was saying earlier about how I think people are waking up to the fact that a lot of people are getting on board with the movement because they realize that a lot of the other issues at stake have to be addressed. The coming together as a community and treating each other equally as one has to come before we can address the other issues.
Yeah, I mean, white people are more fortunate. Obviously, they get a head start. There's a misconception about black people. When you talk about, it's like they're eating at this table, and white people got bigger crumbs than us underneath the table, and they're happy about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're really excited about those larger crumbs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
None of us are the top 1%.
Yeah, exactly.
That's true.
Just really excited about those larger crumbs. And it's like, dude, like, you're eating the same crumbs as me. You own your house, I rent next door. You have a Lexus, I have a Camry, the engine's made by the same people. You know what I mean? Like, you're not doing that much better than me. Okay? But you accept that. And it's not just white people, all the races.
Yeah.
You know, the Indians or Sikh community, they're fine with their tax break. The Native Americans, they're fine with their college, school, and casinos and shit. But even the Native Americans oppress each other. The smaller casinos are oppressed by the larger casinos. You ever talk to the Native American? They have alcohol problems.
Yeah.
They have abuse problems with like domestic violence issues, all because they're lost in their heritage. They have all these other problems, and they're like, man, that's the same problem black people got, because they're still oppressed, even though they're benefiting more than us. They're still oppressed, and all these people that are still oppressed are satisfied with their oppression because they're still getting a little bit more than black people. If you take like I was telling them in the car earlier. If I make $16 and I go to work every day, I'm happy. Until I find out you make 18, then I'm gonna quit my fucking job. You know what I'm saying? I go like, I hate this job now. I'm trying to figure out why you get 18 and I get 16. You know what I mean? It's just how we are. Like if we only realize that, you know what I mean? Both of us should get paid $36 an hour. Neither one of us would be happy. One that makes 18 or one that makes 16, but the people that make 18, they're happy to tell you, I make 18. Sorry, you only make 16. Sorry. I didn't mean to let you know that I make $2 more than you per hour for the same shit. And I got hired after you. I'm sorry to tell you that. You know what I mean? They like that.
No, they like to tell
They
you.
really like it. Of course they do. You know what I mean? Because who doesn't like privilege? But the reality is, like with black people, out of everybody that starts where we start, we're the most successful race of people. Like there's a head start that everyone else gets. So if you look at like where we start, take all the white people that start, that live next door to us. They don't become basketball players and shit. They don't become like politicians and shit. They don't become like race actors and shit. They don't become like doctors and lawyers. They sell drugs like us. They go to jail just like us. They do commit crimes just like us. when they're a victim of poverty and oppression, they're just like us. And we're actually more successful than them because you don't find a lot of white people that come from the very, very, very bottom that are successful. Most of them come off from like a wealthy home, third generation family, second generation, fourth generation, you know what I mean? They come from a wealthier environment, from a better school system. The white people that's got the same school system as us, same education level and stuff, they're not doing better than the average black person. They're doing worse. You know what I mean? And when you look at where black people started at, we're the most creative. We make something out of nothing. We work, you know what I mean? The stuff that we do is like literally, we have a heart, you know, we make the things that we make while other people have a head start. And a lot of times we pass to catch them up. Even when you take white people off the equation, you look at Hispanics and Asians and everything like that, we're more successful than them altogether. Like when it comes to politics, you got white politicians, you got black politicians. How many Asian senators are there? How many Asian congressmen are there? How many Mexican senators and congressmen? You know what I mean? It's not a lot. You have mainly white, and then second in every category is black. In sports, in athletics, in the medical field, you'll have a lot of Sikh people in the medical field. But when it comes to most things in life, as far as success is rated in America, it's white first and then black second. You know what I mean? And then the other races, they get a head start, but they're not really doing better than us. So when you look at the system that oppresses us, there's nothing wrong with black people. It's a system that oppresses us. And when everybody else falls into that system that black people live in, they go through the same shit we go through. So it's not a race thing, it's a system thing. It's a system thing. And the system is designed for black people to fail. Because Martin Luther King didn't free one race, he freed all the races. That shit didn't say no blacks when he went to the bubblers in the restaurant. That shit said whites only. Okay? There was a lot of races that couldn't go to that shit. And when they write the laws, even right now, if they write the laws, if I were to get laws changed right now, that shit wouldn't say black people will be treated differently by the police. They'll write it for all people. That's why the Black Lives Matter movement doesn't even matter that you're standing up for black lives, because the legislation that will be wrote will be rough for white people too. It'll be rough for Asian people too. It'll be rough for everybody too. Doesn't matter that it's a Black Lives Matter movement. The legislation will be written for all people. You just have to show that you show compassion for the ones being punished the most. If we were in a, you know, if we were all here, somebody had a broken leg or her foot is hurt, then we should cater to her as a people. And if we cater to her because her foot hurts, it doesn't mean that she's more important than anyone else. It doesn't mean that anything you guys go through doesn't matter. It just means that since her foot is hurt, she needs more care, more attention. She needs more love, and we need to support her more right now because everybody else is able to walk. So when we look at Black Lives Matter, that's why all lives matter can't matter. So Black Lives Matter because we're the lady right there that's hurt right now. We're the one that needs the most attention. Doesn't mean that the other people don't matter. It just means right now, while we're wounded, while we're hurt, while we're the ones that are struggling the most in the community from the pressure of society, what they're doing to us, while we're those people, we need the people that are down here with us going through this shit to be like, I'm going through this shit too, but not as bad as you. So I'm going to uplift you so then we can eventually be on an even plane and then uplift each other to get out of this hole. Because everybody's in the same hole. Everybody. Doesn't matter who you are. But until you grab the people at the bottom, you gotta lift them up on top of you. You gotta, even if we were to do some type of train or whatever, you have to pick the person under you up, and they would have to climb up on top of you where you're already higher than them at, in order for all of us to get out. That's the only way. Because if you just climb yourself, you'll never get out that hole. And that's what we need to do. If people are mature enough, if people learn how to organize enough, if people can look past some of the issues we have, because the white people that's poor with us ain't the white people that wrote the laws. They're not the white people in Congress neither, and they're not the white people that's making it hard for us. They're white, but the white person that next door can't make it that hard for me. You know what I mean? They can't impress me as much as the white politicians can. They can support me though more than the white politicians can, and their support can get you change, and that's what we need.
Can I just touch on what you just said about when I fell? First thing I did was look to make sure nobody was watching, because I didn't want anybody to address it. And everybody came to me and I had to say, I've never in my life had that, and I'm white. I've never had anybody say, we got your back, you know? And I was so embarrassed, and I'm like, just leave do you want an ambulance? No, I don't want an ambulance because it can't do nothing, you know. But my anxiety went through the roof because of that, you know. But to turn around and everybody came to me and they said, "You're family. We got your back." I've never in my life ever, and I feel more comfortable here with everybody than I have ever felt with my white family. You know what I'm saying? So I want to thank everybody that came to me, because that was hard for me. It was hard because just 12 years, or back in 2012, I did it was like all over again. I did it outside of a company, and I fell and broke my left leg, and they didn't think I was gonna walk again. And the first thing people did is laughed at me because I'm fat. You know, they said, "Look at that fat girl. She hit it. She just caused an earthquake." You know what I'm saying? And that's what I seen and felt in my head, and I didn't want nobody to see me because I was embarrassed.
Yeah, and I think that along this journey, a lot of people have found themselves. Like as we march, a lot of people have found themselves and stuff like that. And like we've had people march with a shield and a sword. Where normally walking down the street, they would be criticized for having a shield and a sword. But marching with us, they're not criticized for having a shield and a sword. They're accepted. You can be gay, you can be straight, you can be tall, you can be short, you can be big, you can be little, you can be 99 or 9 years old. It don't matter. When you with us, you're treated the same. Everybody eats, everybody gets rooms. Women are treated a little bit better than men. That's about it. You know what I mean? Being honest. Women get beds, sometimes the man has to sit on the floor. There's no man that's in the bed, at least on the floor.
That's what democracy looks like.
Just going down in Portland right now.
There's like a van full or a caravan of Trumpers
There's 100.
Oh yeah, they had the
coming
Trump
to fight
rallies.
with the Antifas, quote unquote Antifas.
Is there any Antifa? I never seen it.
It's not like
Antifa's an
it's
ideology.
exactly. Yeah, people are like, this is this terrorist group, but really it's people from coming from all walks of life that are labeled as Antifa because somebody thinks that there's somebody paying these people to come out and fight.
It's like you were talking about how BLM, like some people like go out and just burn shit and break shit and not be like marching or spreading a message. But like Antifa is just an idea of opposing fascism. But there would be people who will take action like burning buildings down or stuff like that and claim to do it for like Antifa purposes or try to like push their agenda forward. So it's kind of just like
I think that's the difficult about everybody trying to find their place, and you gotta have both. Not to say that I'm not saying we should burn shit down, but you gotta have both. If you only have peace, they'll never give you shit. If you only have violence,
I'll say it for them.
if you only have violence, they'll never give you shit. You gotta get balance. You gotta have a threat.
tactics.
Like sort of like America will talk to somebody, and then they'll also blow their shit up. They'll talk to, hey man, we'll talk to you. Otherwise, truth's coming. Because it's both. It's the press, and then if the truth don't come, then who gonna ever take a threat of yours serious? I mean, so you gotta have both, because you gotta be able to have something to back up what you're saying. I go in there, I talk to people, and like say, you go in and you get arrested or something. Like, man, all these people gonna be at the courthouse, and they look outside, ain't nobody there. You know what I mean? They're like, oh, whatever. You know what I'm saying? You're supposed to be this big dude. So you gotta have like, they gotta know. I think, and that was like some of the stuff that kept us safe. They kind of knew what would happen if you like mess with us. Like, as we were walking, we could use the police would have like let something happen to us or did something to us. And you're gonna be that little county or town that gets flooded by all the people that support what's going on. And those people that come aren't gonna be as nice as the people that were marching. And without that kind of a cause and effect, it's sort of like having a big brother that's in the gang or a big brother that would beat everybody up at the park. You can say something crazy, so I say, I'm going to be my big brother. Then you want to like not be on that tough stuff no more. You're like, nah, you know what? I ain't on that no more. I'm cool. You know what I'm saying? I'm chilling right now. People change when they know that you got backup, or they know you got support, or they know that you got somebody that'll do something to somebody. You know what I'm saying? So same thing with women. If you got a dude that'll beat up a dude, some dudes will watch their mouth. They might not call her a bitch. You know what I'm saying? They might be like, you know what? Such and such, you know that such and such girl, right? oh, okay, I'm gonna chill out. You know what I'm saying? Excuse me. He was like, I'm sorry. He was like, no, but you have to have the threat of being able to actually hold people accountable. Otherwise, they won't be held accountable.
I have a couple questions people are trying to ask you, if that's okay.
Yeah.
So had you ever considered walking to DC the way that you planned on? Did you ever consider that before George Floyd and before May and the protests really broke out?
It was all because of George Floyd and the fact that it was Martin Luther King. I have his ring speech, so I wanted to honor him specifically because it was on the same day. Originally they said they were gonna have a march, they didn't have a date. So like, okay, cool, I'll go to the march. But then when they picked that date and what that date symbolizes, I felt like what better way to do.
You're just like, oh, real driving factor. Okay. The second thing is want to shout out my homie Donna from Boop Trip Eugene here. She wanted to ask you the question: if you encountered a lot of unhoused people along the way, or like the houseless community, and like how bad was it, or was it bad in the states that you walked through, and did it seem like there was any infrastructure in place to try to tackle it at all? Because in Oregon, where we come from, there is a very extreme homelessness issue right now.
And the white communities, obviously not. Like through Indiana and Ohio and Pittsburgh, didn't really see it that much because they're small towns. It was like a road in a small town. But all of the homeless people that I did see, I would give them like $100. Try to give them a room. Like I would take care of them for real, for real. And we made sure we got them food and everything that we had. Because the homeless is a big journey for me, like in my heart, what's going on. The homeless are very important. So I didn't see a large presence, but the ones I did see, I could tell that there probably was a large presence in the city, but not in the areas that I was walking through.
Okay.
Does that make any sense?
Yeah, definitely.
A lot of times you don't. We picked the Google map that was the fastest one and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We only had 24 days to make it there. So if I did it all over again, we probably would have went to like Indianapolis and other cities instead of the racist ones. The racist ones were just like en route to what we were doing. But at the same time, now that I know that, I felt better with the cities I went through to expose what was going on in those different cities and stuff like that.
So is it intentional that you showed up here? Well, I know you were trying to get here today, but like, I feel like that'd be difficult to plan out, like time-wise. Like, we're gonna walk this fast today. We got to get like 60 miles in or something.
No, it was super hard. So we did not plan to get there at 7:30 in the morning. I actually was freaking out because we were leaving so late that last day. And I was like, dude, we're gonna have to march all night. We're gonna have to walk all night because it took so long to get ready. So, and some of it was my fault because I hate when I say that. She hates when I say that. But people have went like to the store and stuff, and sometimes people just walk away and you just be trying to count everybody and you can't because they're not standing there. And, you know, in your mind they left, but they just want to sat in the car somewhere. So it's a little difficult to get everybody together. But no, I mean, I think that the last day I didn't know if we were gonna make it on time per se. I just know that we had to walk fast as hell. In the Google map said we were not gonna make it on time.
Oh, really?
Like, yeah, I was like 2 days and 18 hours out on the last like day and a half.
Damn.
Yeah.
You really
so,
picked up the pace.
Oh yeah, I had to. We definitely picked up the pace. Everybody that walked with us, definitely. Everybody that visited to walk with us, definitely was like, all the police and everybody was like, you guys are moving. We were watching that last live. It was like,
yeah, I turned it on, and you were just sweating. Dripping sweat walking. Like you were pretty close. I think you had just gotten to like outside of DC and were coming in.
But nothing pretty close when you were walking. Because there was a moment where we started at like 33 miles left. We had to walk 10 miles through the city and we had like 33 miles left. There was a moment where we had like 33 miles left. And then we got to 23 miles. And we walked for like an hour. And I swear it was like 22 miles left. I was like, oh no. It was like, I'm like, dude, this last hour was just like crazy. We walked like 9 miles and like, you know what I'm saying, to like 2 hours, and then the next third hour it was like nothing had happened. And I was frustrated. And the police was like, you guys are moving. I was like, not if we got 20 miles left. The 20 miles is supposed to be equivalent to basically 6.5 more hours, 7 hours. And that's too much. We've already walked for like 8 hours that day. Only 7 more hours left.
Looked at the Google map when we were that last stretch, and it said we were gonna arrive at 10:30, and I'm like, man, how are we gonna do? And we pulled in at at 7:30. I was like, we were early. Like, wow, that was crazy.
Y'all got moving so fast that night that I lay down for an hour.
And it was uphill.
And I almost missed y'all.
The crazy part, it was uphill. Those moms were hard, though. Two moms together.
We couldn't find
Them moms was crazy.
that last day we was looking for y'all. We could not find y'all. We was
I
just
don't know how we was on one street the whole time. The street I
Bro,
got.
we drove down that street. Y'all wasn't there.
It makes no sense.
One street though.
Thanks, Nicole.
So, anything else from you guys?
My game just cut out.
No? Yeah.
You guys are welcome to me on stuff.
Okay.
People's already might answer.
I guess I have one more question. It's not super important, but I was just curious. Did you drink a lot of coffee when you were, like, what gave you the energy? Just the spirit backing you up?
Yeah,
Was it
a
just
very
water?
spiritual journey. There was a lot of spiritual things that happened. I wasn't even drinking water.
Just the adrenaline.
I wasn't eating. A lot of times I had to make me eat. I wasn't eating, I wasn't drinking water. I went out with Cena one morning and walked like 20 miles that morning. It was like 3.5 hours or something. We were out. And I didn't even drink any water. The whole walk.
Dang.
I was just like, fine.
Wow.
No coffee. I didn't want to use the bathroom. Coffee,
Yep.
coffee, you have to use the bathroom.
Diuretic.
I would not use nothing that was gonna make me have to use the bathroom. And honestly, and then Red Bulls, I didn't want to crash or anything.
I think he's tired.
All drinks and stuff like that. And then eventually, like, because there was so many people, there was a security concern. I wasn't like, if people brought the stuff, I couldn't drink it or I couldn't eat it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
You never
I'm
know.
not from Hollywood or anything like that, but that's what they told me. I can't eat that. You can't eat that.
When you have a message, there's a lot of people that's going to try to stop. That are going to try to stop that message from getting through to the people.
For sure. I think I had to try for my these people while I'm falling asleep.
All right, we'll let you get some rest.
No, it's fine.
Thank you so much for answering our questions and all your stories.
I really appreciate
Yeah,
you letting us
much
come in here and do this, man. This is awesome.
We really don't have to.
I thought I had a question worth asking if you want to answer it first.
No, I got more.
He's been waiting this whole time.
You've been thinking.
No sleep.
Hurry up and ask it so you can get some rest.
We made it. We celebrated.
Can I get a picture with you? Awesome.
Wait for his interview to be over.
Can you hold this so I can get a picture? Actually, Adam, can you take a picture?
I just said no justice.
Yeah, I can just send it to you.
I say that all the time. They'll be like, go to bed, Dante. And I'll be like, no justice. No sleep.
Oh no, that's me. No, that's me.
It's problematic. I'll stay up for
No.
days.
I know the press
understands that shit.
No, there's been summers where I've like done 48-hour days.
It's so cool though,
and
like,
sleep for like 14 hours straight.
Nope. I do 48-hour days and then I take a 6-hour nap and then I'm back up.
We left out here Wednesday. We left Avoid, Wisconsin at 2.